Hey, welcome back to the GMS, Global Media Studios themselves, here at NSA's Thrive Convention. And I'm with a very, very dear friend, all right, individual self that we ran and crossed paths several times in these NSA junctures.
Absolutely.
Without a doubt. Mr. John Register.
Richard,
thank you very much, sir, for joining.
So amazing to be here with you. Thank you so much for your
Thank
gifting,
you.
for how you show up to these National Speaker Association conferences. We love having you here and
Thank
how
you.
you elevate us with your presence.
All right, we're done. John, thank you very much for that. And we love being here too as well. You know, we've been hanging out in these halls for a good long time, you know, and it's great that we have this opportunity to share story, bring content, elevate some humor, and have some great entertainment, you know, without a doubt. And for that, we thank you. All right. But John, I want to get to you. All right. You're a man of resilience. You're a man of leadership. Okay. I love the motto itself, amputate to elevate. Okay. I want the individuals themselves to know the John, all right, know the story behind the man, already, and things themselves that led you to where you are right now. Okay. There's many reasons why individuals get to the positions where we're able to speak, work, and develop relationships and communications, all right, with people, all right, to get them to take action. Alrighty. And in our roles of leadership. So I think it's very important. And I think it's very important for people to know you. Who is John?
That's a great question because there's
so much.
How are we just one thing?
That's right.
Right. We're a myriad of relationships that we have had over the course of our life. So many people have poured into you, have poured into me.
Sure.
So I can't be just one thing. But how I show up in the world is a conglomeration of everybody that has poured into me. So how I show up in the world, I'll give you kind of the Cliff Notes version for your audience that's out there.
That's fine.
And that is being a world-class athlete, track and field athlete at the University of Arkansas. 3-time track and field All-American. So I'm with John McDonald, the most winningest coach in NCAA history, any sport. So that shapes how I see championship mindset.
Right.
I was a part of 4 national championship teams. How many people have been part of 4 national championship teams? So there's a different perspective that I have on what excellence looks like.
Sure.
So
percentages, right, exactly.
Right,
less than X amount of percentage ever make it to that position.
That's correct.
Okay.
And so I make it to the Olympic trials, which means I made the Olympic standard in 3 different disciplines. Right. So the 100-meter to 110-meter high hurdles, the 400-meter intermediate hurdles, and the long jump.
Wow.
So most people don't even make it to the Olympic trials and make an Olympic standard, let alone make it in 3 different
categories. Exactly.
Combat veteran. So I was on the world-class athlete program for the United States Army, make it back without a scratch. And as I'm training for my 3rd Olympic trials in the military's world-class athlete program, I misstep a hurdle. I dislocate my knee. I sever my artery behind the kneecap. And 7 days later, I become an amputee.
That's a change.
Huge change. So mentally, physically,
emotionally, spiritually. I mean, it's got a super compounding effect.
Right. And when we think about leadership today, the number one thing people don't want to lose is their identity. To who they have become or who they believe they were supposed to have become.
Right.
And I was going through that. Who am I now? What's my identity? Am I still a father to my son? Was my wife going to stick around? Do I still have a job in the military? Can I support my family? I mean, my Olympic dreams, they're over.
Right.
So all of this, 2 careers gone and 1 wrong step. And my wife, going back to family, relationships, she wraps her arms around me. She says, you know what, John? We're going to get through this time together.
Good.
It's just our new normal. We need support. We need support systems, support structures. So I get out of the military. I start swimming for physical therapy. And 2 years later, I make the Paralympic swim team.
So there's nonstop here for the JR, right? Exactly.
At the same time, I'm working for the World Class Athlete Program, and I put the first person through the program that I was running onto the Olympic team for the 2000 Olympics.
Okay.
At the games in Atlanta, as I was swimming, I see athletes running on artificial legs.
Yep.
I said, I'm going to have a leg made for running and get back on track.
Good deal.
And 4 years later, I win the silver medal in the long jump in Sydney, Australia.
Jeez, you don't like accomplishments, do you?
We don't. I mean, and as I'm on the medal podium, I'm thinking about all this, what's going on, and we can't stay on the medal podium. There's a time where you have to get off. But
Yeah,
I'm
right.
thinking about all these things that have transpired,
Sure.
all the things that have led me to this one moment in time.
Right.
And as I step off, I'm like, okay, what's next? The United States Olympic Committee hires me, and I begin what becomes known as the Paralympic Military Sport Program.
Right.
So I'm not going to be an Olympic class athlete. I become a Paralympian.
Sure.
I'm not going to become a military officer.
Right.
So I build a program for wounded, ill, and injured service members
Good.
to
Superb.
use sports as their tool for rehabilitation.
And we thank you for your service.
Oh, I'm
Thank you.
happy to serve.
Good.
And it's a good point. I want to go down another rabbit hole.
There's plenty of holes. There's plenty of rabbit holes
When we get
around
out,
here,
right?
exactly. Yeah,
There's we get to thank you for your service, and the service is really an oath that I took.
Sure.
Right, to protect and defend the United States Constitution against all
Right.
enemies, foreign and domestic.
Good.
To bear true faith and allegiance to the same. And when I got out, no one ever got me in the room and unoathed me.
Okay.
So I'm still there. Right.
It's a longevity, long-term commitment.
It's right.
Okay. That doesn't change.
It doesn't change. And so I'm working for the Olympic Committee. I built this program out. It turns into the Department of Defense's Warrior Games.
Really?
So it's DOD now runs the Warrior Games. And then that expands, and I go over to Loughborough University in England. And in my presentation, the Princess Diana Fund is there. And that turns into Prince Harry's Invictus
Maybe
Games.
Invictus Games, right? Exactly. Yeah.
So all this stuff comes from one misstep over a hurdle that creates a plethora of opportunity.
Right.
So how do we then, in our leadership experience, begin to look at what does not move us forward, what we need to release, what we need to strategically subtract instead of adding on to our plate?
Right.
So I call it amputate to elevate.
Right.
Strategic subtraction for multiplied impact.
Yep.
We're always trying to put more on. I'm saying, what do you need to release?
Okay.
I had to go through an amputation in order to find out what my true destiny or purpose was. Got me more focused on who I could become.
Here's the thing itself. We don't want individuals themselves listening to us to go out and get an amputee.
That's right. Exactly right.
All right.
You don't want to become an amputee to learn a lesson.
No, exactly. All right.
But I got a knife.
Exactly. But not here. Maybe later. All right. How's that sound? All right. But this has now propelled you in a different direction.
Yes.
Okay. And I can see that transgression or the transition, okay, to what it was. All right. And that dream, all right, and those changes themselves developed into another focus. All right, that drove you into another position. I'm going to say there's probably no regrets.
No, there's no regrets. I mean, not in that area of life. I mean, there's, we always wish to do-overs for something, but there's no regrets there because I went out doing what I desired, what I loved doing.
Sure.
So there's no regret at all with that. Yeah.
The support was there.
Absolutely.
Family was there.
Right.
Okay. I'm sure the spiritual support was there
Absolutely.
too as well, because that's a whole dynamic position that needs to take place.
Right.
Okay. And then going forward itself, amputate, to elevate, has now been your new signature.
Right.
So how do we take that in front of leadership and how you're doing what you're doing right now to incorporate this already into others that need to follow that step? Already.
Yeah.
Corporate. Individuals, teams, and everything else like this. All right. Because you're coming from a sports minded, which is team oriented.
Mm-hmm.
All right. In the first place. How does this all come to play?
Indecision.
Okay.
A lot of leadership right now we hide behind uncertainty.
Okay.
And so because we think things are so uncertain and we've never lived through these times before, it stops us from making decisions. So we get indecisive, and we don't commit to what we know we have to do.
Right.
And we start spinning out there. Colin Powell, like great Colin Powell, had a 40-70 rule. He said, if you have 40% of the information, then you cannot make a decision because you don't have enough information.
Right.
However, if you have 70% of the information, you probably waited too long because you'll never have 100% of the information. You have to make the decision. And so that's where I camp out. I camp out in people who are having a new vision
Okay.
and need to make a commitment to that vision,
Right.
or those that have just made a commitment and now they realize they're no longer an expert.
Expert on there. Exactly.
I walk with
Mm,
2 legs for 29 years.
that's right.
When the leg is gone, I'm hopping.
And you do it rather well, I got to tell you, without a doubt.
So I have to learn how to walk on an artificial leg. I have to
Sure.
learn how to manipulate a wheelchair to a prosthetic appointment. I have to learn
Right.
how to put on the leg, or
Right.
4-bar walker to crutches, crutches to cane, cane
Sure.
to free walking.
Sure.
So I have to relearn and give myself space and grace
Right.
to grow in the moment.
Mhm.
And that's tough, because can I take myself out of what I know I can do
Yeah.
and relearn it,
That's right.
to deconstruct it and
Yeah.
build it again stronger? Remember Steve Austin, the man
Right,
barely
exactly.
alive.
Yeah, that's
Like,
it.
we can build them
You
faster,
mean
stronger.
the $1 million
The
man? now
million
you are?
dollar
It's now
man.
billion.
The
all right?
billion, that's right. The $1 billion
$1
man.
billion man. Change. Hard to accept.
Yeah, it's very hard to accept. So we have a process. I built a process because what I realized, Rich, is that I didn't overcome the amputation of my
Amputation,
left
right,
leg.
exactly. Yeah.
I didn't overcome it.
Okay.
And why? Because if I had overcome it, I'd have my leg back.
That's right, exactly. Yeah.
Yeah. So how did I do it? There was innovation. There was adaptation to a world that wasn't designed
Right.
for me.
Mm-hmm.
I began with the reckoning. The reckoning moment is realized, or hurdled, if we use the acronym for hurdles, is hurdled when we realize we do not get back what we desire to have back when some type of trauma has impacted
Right.
our life.
Okay.
So we have to go through a grief process.
Right.
We have to grieve what we believe we have lost
Okay.
in the moment.
All right.
Once we do that, we know it because people will say, "I just wish things would go back to normal. I've been working for this company for 20 years.
Right.
How come we got to change now?"
That's right.
That's the reckoning. That's the language of the
Okay,
reckoning.
gotcha. Yeah.
When we hurdle that, now we're into a revision. We can now think about what might be new
Mm-hmm.
for us, or how we can think about things in a different way and begin to test ideas.
Right.
But the three forces that hold us back:
Yeah. Right.
other people who believe for us what we can or cannot do, usually based upon what they believe they could or could not do
Yeah. Right.
if they were in your situation.
Yeah.
Secondarily, society. We conform to what society dictates to us.
Sure. Exactly.
And it's very hard to break away from that conformity.
Mm-hmm.
We think we can, but I don't want to lose my friends.
Yeah.
If I think a different way, I want to stay in the structure. I'm just going to say, stay safe. And so we do. We don't conform. We conform to what most people
Sure. Almost
say.
to an excuse pattern.
Absolutely.
And
right.
So can't do that.
And
because
behavior pattern.
And behavior, without
and
a doubt.
behavior,
100%.
right?
Yeah.
So we continue to march that way. And then third is I'm the one that has to make the
The
commitment
change
and the jump.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Right. I've had the world's best hurdle coaches.
Right.
None of my hurdle coaches ever ran over a hurdle for me.
No. Yeah, well,
I have to do that. I have to
Yeah.
attack the hurdle. And once I attack that hurdle, that brings us into the third hurdle. And that's the hardest one, is the renewal. Renewal is hard because now you have made a commitment.
Yeah, right.
And when you have made a commitment, it's irreversible.
Yeah.
You cannot go back.
No.
It's impossible.
Yeah. And this particular point it is.
Right.
Yeah.
So doctor amputates my leg, I don't get my leg back. When you make a commitment, Rich, you cannot get it back. If you think you can, you're just not in the renewal.
Sure.
You're in the reckoning.
I like that.
Yeah, you're in
I
the
like
reckoning.
that. So what's the next steps?
So the next step after that is you have to give
Pardon the
yourself, the next hop
Yeah,
is after that is you have to give yourself space and grace to grow.
Okay.
And so once you're giving yourself, allowing that to happen, you realize that there is no end to it.
Yeah, right.
You're in a space that can never end. But then that's where the exhaustion comes. Man, can we just get to the end?
Yeah, the
There's
end,
no
right,
end,
exactly.
because you can be at a reckoning moment in one area of your life.
Sure.
You can be at a renewal in another area of your life. You can
Yep.
be in a revision in a total other area of your life.
Sure, right, exactly.
So there's a congruence that happens all the time. I have these three rings that kind of revolve around each other when I'm presenting, so people can see that this all works in concert with each other, kind of like the atoms
Yeah,
atoms
right,
spinning
exactly,
thing,
sure.
sort of like that. And once we understand that we're all in concert, we're all in this flow,
Yeah.
that's when we understand the congruence, how everything connects one to the other.
Yeah.
And if one stops, everything else stops spinning.
Yeah, sure. Without a
It,
doubt.
it wrecks everything else.
Yeah, right.
Everything's
Exactly.
got to work together. What was that movie? The Incredibles.
Incredibles, right?
Right?
Exactly.
Remember the Incredibles? And
Yep.
the guy that was the boss of Mr. Incredible when he had to get a job. He
That's
said,
right.
all the clocks have to work together.
Together.
Right? Together. It's like a well-oiled machine. Right?
It is, and I think individuals themselves knowing and understanding that and learning all right, those themselves, that everything, all right, has to work together.
Mhm.
I think it's going to be extremely important, and everything else. Lessons learned?
Yeah, the lessons, I continue to learn them.
Yeah.
The lessons that I find a lot of leaders, especially was things I had to overcome, not
Right.
really overcome, but to adapt around and understand more about myself.
Yeah, right.
The releasing of control that I
Mm.
had to do it all. Comes to a very visceral story, but
Yeah.
I couldn't do anything for myself
Right.
when I had the accident,
Mhm.
and to the point of even going to the bathroom by myself.
Sure.
So I had to have the nurses, but those nurses were as excellent at their job as I was as an athlete trying to make the Olympic team,
Right, exactly.
right? And I have to release myself to the
Sure.
expertise that I
Mhm.
don't have,
That's right.
but they do.
The ability to and come to conclusion or
Yes.
finalization. One thing you want to leave with your audience. One thing, one an important nugget themselves that you would like to leave with folks themselves listening to this cast.
You said something earlier about faith.
Mm-hmm.
And one thing I understand that drives me is inside of faith is breath. So I believe that since my creator has breathed life, my God has breathed life into me, it's my
Right.
duty, obligation, and responsibility,
Good.
being created in that image, to breathe life into others.
Good.
It comes, the word is inspiration,
Yep.
or inspiro
Inspiro. Right.
from the Latin. That means to breathe into.
Mm.
So if I'm doing that, I become this seed. God's breathing into me, I breathe life into others,
Right.
who then can breathe life into the folks that they're supposed to
Sure.
do.
Right.
If I stop doing that, a flower's either growing
That's right.
or dying.
That's right.
Wasn't that was it Shawshank Redemption?
Sure. Yeah,
Get
right.
busy living or get busy dying.
Yep.
And so we're either doing one of two things.
Yeah.
We're either causing life to happen in somebody or causing death to happen in somebody
Right.
by what we say.
Sure.
So I'm always expecting and always instilling in my audience to breathe life
Right.
through their inspiration.
Good. John, how do they reach you? How do people reach you? Your message itself will resonate with a great deal of different types of folks themselves,
Mhm.
from business to corporates to teams, especially for those themselves military.
Mhm.
Okay, because of your service, and again, thank you for your service. And I think itself, people need to resonate with your message. All right, because here it is, inspiration is based upon experiences. You certainly have had already a lengthy resume of experiences, which helps to motivate individuals to
Mhm.
augment change, develop a mindset, all right, to make that change. And I think itself, you're on the right path to
Mm.
adapt change themselves and people, all right, that maybe they, may fell short somewhere along
Yeah.
the lines. And I think it's extremely important. All right. John, how do people reach you?
Well, that's easy enough. I have a website. It's johnregister.com, common
Okay.
spelling.
Good.
And then you can just book off that link right
Good
there.
deal. Superb.
If you want to really kind of follow what the work is,
Yeah.
we want to know who's following us. So we do it through a platform called Beehive.
Okay.
And
Good.
that's johnregister.beehive, which is BEEHIIV.com.
Good. Good
Yeah.
deals.
So that's
Love
the
it.
way they can find
Love
it.
it. John, this has been my honor already to sit down already and talk about the length of the journey and what it took to get to where you are today.
Mhm.
Many blessings. All right, and continuing that journey, because this journey's never end. I tell people, I'm that close from being that far away every day.
Absolutely.
All right? And so I want to welcome you and thank you at the same token,
Thank you.
for everything you do, especially with the chapters and working with NSA and what you've done in the past and things of this nature. And I guess what we all continue to do, all right, to move this family forward, all right, and give them as much help and support that we possibly can, that you give in others already many times and times over. So I want to thank you for that.
Well,
And thank you for hanging out with us.
likewise
Good.
from me to you and from NSA, and thanks you for your sponsorship and your support.
Thank you. I appreciate that. All right. NSA Thrive. Thank you for joining us. Thank you for hanging out with us at the GMS studios themselves, here at the theater, here in wonderful downtown. Where are we?
Nolans.
Nolans is right. Nolans is right. Guys, we'll see you soon. Thank you very much. Have a blessed day. Take care.